So welcome back, everybody. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome to the Pair Chat. Where did everybody go?
I'm sitting in the woods someplace, and I got a stone beside me.
Hey, there we go. I'm trying to get. Is it doing it to everybody else, or is it just me?
It's we can't see ourselves.
We can't see ourselves, but that's
which
okay.
is bizarre. What are you doing, Nick? What were you just doing? Okay. Just
You were suddenly in the woods by some cement stairs or something.
I'm still in the woods. I have a nice. Where is it? Right there. I have this big rock over here.
Yeah.
And some trees. I feel like I'm in British Columbia right now.
Well, thanks.
Oh, now
it's a nice place to be.
Man, that'd be an amazing place to be. Sounds like.
It's kind of where we are.
It's just you can't go too far. Well, we don't see him, but we see his room.
There he is. There we go. Now we're all there.
Yes!
In British Columbia.
All right. So we're good now? We good? We good? Okay.
We're good.
All right. Welcome back. I can edit. I'm going to have to edit this video this time. Sorry for screaming.
Go like that. People enjoy that.
Okay. I'm not touching nothing. All right, guys. Welcome back. Episode 2, Pair Chat. We have with us again from Cornerstone Supernatural, Janine and Paul. Say hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi, Janine and Paul.
They're here for round 2.
We are.
Oh goodness. And we have with us a new team coming from Rhode Island. We have the Paranormal Legion Society with Dennis.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Dennis.
Hey, Dennis.
So first off, I want to say thank you, everybody, for joining and being part of this. Everybody knows I'm a big fan and supporter of Para Unity, and this is just one way that I can show and support, people in the paranormal world other than myself around the world. Canada, Rhode Island represents. So, no, I'm just thankful for you guys to have you guys here. So, anything you want to talk about? Anything? What's your first topic? I do want to show you guys something. Let me show you this. Guess what I fixed? Uh-oh, let's hope it works. Okay, ready, set, go. We're going to talk. We'll just get right into it. Boom. All right. Go here. Can y'all see my iPad screen?
We can.
Yes,
all
we
right.
can.
Look at that.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Whoa,
Right.
buddy.
Guess who got it working? I got it working.
Oh, man.
That's right.
That's cool.
Oh, man.
I like that.
Yeah, I know, right? So I wanted to show y'all that. So before we get into that, let's go back here. And I'm going to stop sharing.
There we go.
All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a chance to, tell a little bit about yourselves, where you're from. You want to start? Let's go ahead and start with Dennis and the Paranormal Legion Society. Let's go ahead and you want to tell us a little bit about you and your team and everything.
Well, I'm with Paranormal Legend Society. We're in Rhode Island. We're very fortunate here, the fact that we have a lot of historical locations. We have 12 members on our team. We range from, our investigators. We have a historian who is outstanding. Our co-founder, Rick, started this team years ago with his family. We have our, typical things, our case manager, our investigators, our tech guys. Right now we do anything, residential, commercial, and historical. And being right where everything started here in, the United States on the East Coast, we get a lot of chances to do historical locations as well. And that's pretty cool for us. As I was telling, Nicholas earlier, we do a lot of make our own equipment, which is a lot of
Very
fun.
Useful.
And it is useful, especially when it works.
Yeah, especially when it works.
That's the best thing.
Right.
We just did a public event last night. We're very lucky. We have a home base for us in North
nice.
Kingstown.
Okay.
So once a month we do paranormal investigation with people from the community. And it's great because they get to learn the history, which is important. It's called Smith's Castle in North Kingstown. You guys should come on down.
Smith's Castle. I'm going to write that down.
Smith's Castle goes back to Roger Williams. You know, there's debate on whether it was Roger Williams' trading post or Richard Smith. So, you know, that's what's nice. And Roger Williams is who found Rhode Island.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, that's...
Yeah, wow.
That's pretty interesting, man. Especially, you know, like you said, like all the historical places over there and on the East Coast. Like, what's the oldest like historical place you got to investigate?
Well, you know, we also have the Narragansett Indian tribe and the Wampanoags.
Ooh, okay.
Which, you know, we're going back before any of us were even here.
Right.
We've had chances, you know, to go to some of the. We have these things called Turtle Island. They built turtles out of stone, which were going back. No one can really give us an exact date of when they were done. You know, so to go there is very interesting. And like I said, our historian, Al, he's able to speak Narragansett and Wampanoag. He can look at a twig and tell you what they used that for back.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Awesome. How about you guys, Janine and Paul? Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you guys? Well, what we don't already know, but you fill us all in.
Well, I mean, since when's the last time we did this? Was that in the fall?
October. It was like October.
It was October.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, things have stayed the same. We currently have 30 investigators in the group, on the team, let's put it that way. We have 15 in the lower mainland of British Columbia, and we have 15 within the vast interior of British Columbia. So we open up the interior for the group because one of our lead investigators moved there, and it just was a natural progression for us to look at the historical and different locations. We had made contacts with a number of places, but we had, because of travel and everything else like that, we just never got an opportunity to get to a lot of those places to do an investigation. So with the interior group now, it's going to make it a little bit better for us to get out to those locations and also get the team up and running there. However, because of COVID or anything like that, we really haven't been able to get out for a number of reasons. And also the fact that within British Columbia, we still have travel restrictions, even within the province. So we literally can't go past
our health zone.
Yeah. Which is...
So we can't even go to Victoria, which is, you know, a little ferry ride away because it's, it's on a different route.
You know, I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of the travel restrictions right over there. That's wow.
So we shut things down October 31st, Nick, and Dennis, was our last investigation, and it was pretty incredible. And it's one of the locations that we've talked about. But we have not done anything since. We've stayed in touch with a lot of the locations that we've investigated before, and places that we want to investigate, but we just haven't been able to go out and do it. We're starting to reach out now to a lot of the investigations and starting to do bookings, because for us, it looks like September can be where we're hoping that everything opens up. We can do some things now, but I want to make sure that it's safe for our team and also for the locations that we're going to investigate.
Absolutely.
So we can go in for smaller groups, but again, it's just there's locations that didn't survive. We do approximately 99% of our investigations are done not residential, and so they're historical locations, museums, theaters, restaurants, everything in between. And some of those locations have not survived, and that's sad. for people no longer working, and there's locations that will never come back.
Right.
So it's going to be a process. We're not pushing that because it's not as if whatever's there is going to disappear.
Right.
We're just going to have to be patient. You can't just go out and endanger people or do things like that. So we're just holding off for a bit, at least up here.
Gotcha.
Numbers are good. People are getting vaccinated, things like that, and it's going to be it'll be good again. It'll be fun again.
That's right.
It's so. Anyways, we've all come together from different teams because of either it was the way the investigations were being handled, or the way they treated locations, or just a different value from the individuals. So we started coming together, and thus the name Cornerstone, because we wanted the name of the foundation, a strong foundation, and everything could be grown from there. And then what else? I don't know.
We're just waiting to get started again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, I bet.
Itching to get started.
It's you talk to certain people or certain locations, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, we've opened up this," and they're like, "Oh, okay, let's go." There's still some locations. One of the best ones that we have, and we've talked about, the castle. It's now entirely for sale. It's the last part of the BC penitentiary that was here.
Oh, wow.
So things happen, and we, as yourself, Dennis, we've got our own historian within the group. We've got a lot of different talents within the group, mediums, psychics. We have people that are just starting out doing this, and then we have people that have been doing this for almost 40 years. So it's a good mix. When you go into a location and there's a field of questioning or anything like that, you feed off of each other, right?
Right. Absolutely.
You might be going in one direction with questioning, and then suddenly, oh, guess what? I want to talk about this. So we don't restrict anybody in that regards.
Right.
Yeah. That's it. That's us.
That's awesome.
We met Nick a couple years ago, and it's been a ride ever since, which is kind of.
I'm telling you, I love this roller coaster.
We started building some of his equipment, or Janine did. Let's put it that way. So.
Yeah.
That's how we met.
Speaking of a little bit of DIY, I'm sure we'll get into it in our topics. Dennis himself is also into a little bit of DIY himself. So, yeah, man, it's gonna be. It's. I think we're gonna have some great conversations here. So let's go ahead and let's get started into it. Let's go ahead and hit this thing. I ain't gonna lie. I've been wanting to spin
dying
this wheel.
to spin that wheel.
I've been
since
dying
October.
since
I didn't know there was going to be a test.
Okay, here we go. Ready, set, go. All right. So we got 10 topics, and they're ranging from a few different things. So let's go ahead and give this bad boy a spin. What do you say?
Do it.
Big numbers. Oh, sorry.
Big numbers. All right.
No whammies.
No whammies. Favorite paranormal location. Ta-da. All right. Let me get back out of here and go back here. And then let me go back here. And
now we're not in the woods.
There. All right. Favorite paranormal location. Who would like to start? I'm gonna give the open table. Who would like to start?
Let's give our friends from Canada the opportunity.
Okay, I'll go first.
All right, Janine, let it go. Let's see.
So the aforementioned castle in New Westminster, BC, and it's a suburb of Vancouver for people who may not know. And so this was part of the BC penitentiary system at one time. It's gone now, except for there is this like guardhouse, gatehouse, beautiful historical building that still has a jail in the basement. So it was kind of like where the prisoners came in the very beginning to get processed, right? So not a full-fledged prison, but a holding cell type of thing. So it was converted into a restaurant with several rooms upstairs. Crazy place.
Yeah.
We for people who do like SLS projections, it's full of them, and they're the kind that like to answer you back, which is always really appreciated. Like when you say, "Can you knock on the wall?" and the arm comes up and goes like this. That to me is an affirmation that it's not just, I'm filming a coat rack and I'm too stupid to realize it at the time. That can happen too, right? But when it actually responds to you, then you got to say, hey, that's interesting. I can't quite explain that.
Yeah, no, the processing of prisoners coming into this place was by right through the front door, but there was also a tunnel that came up from the waterfront into those locations. So those that were barged in or boated in, they came in, they were processed through this tunnel into this location. And we actually did an event there, and we had 6 different paranormal rooms, which was really cool because it was, we had people within the group, we had like doing a seance, we had different areas, and that was a public event, but it was where people could actually partake and take care of things, which was really, really cool. But when we first went there, it was the manager said, I said, well, can you tell us where, some of the spots are or anything like that? Because you wanted, information and things like that. He said, looked me straight in the eye. He said, no. I'm like, okay. Not to get on your nerves or anything like that. He said, go do your thing. We come back and talk to me. So we took the team and we split up. It's 3 levels. And we had full reign of the place, and we went into different areas and took our equipment with us and did our thing. And we came back and we said, we have in this area, we have this, we have something in here. There's 2 in this location. There's 2 in the basement. And so on. And he said, yep, bang on. There's 7 spirits here, and you've got each location perfect, which to us was really cool because then we were able to have immediately that relationship with this individual, and it just opened up things from there.
Right.
So.
And another good thing is what he didn't tell you is, a lot of people can lead the witness in certain aspects like that. They can tell you what to expect, and then your mind can play these tricks on you and make you feel like that. So that's good on his part. And it's really good that what you're talking about, like affirming what he knew, but he didn't tell you, but y'all found out like that. I know what you're talking about there. That's happened a lot of times. Like, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
It's one location where we were actually lucky enough to get an apparition caught on film too, on camera. If it looked like a soldier or some sort of guard.
An actual partial operation.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was. I'll see if I can find it and we'll forward it to you. We haven't put it on the website.
Please do.
But
I was going to say I didn't see it. I haven't. If
no, that happened on October 31st too, which is when it did. So
that was a great date for you guys, huh?
It was great, but it was a great place. We are between the times that it's being until it's sold, we are going to be going back. So that's going to be when it's completely empty.
Oh, so yeah. October 31st? You're talking about October 31st?
No, we're talking probably within the next couple of weeks.
Oh, okay. Well, what was good about to go back to October 31st, the veil is very thin. So,
well, yeah, but there's nobody there now. Yeah, like it's completely empty. So
can you see? I'm trying to. That's what I was trying to say.
Go right there.
Oh, that's.
It's back. There we go.
There, right there.
So you can see the steps leading up to the castle. I know it's blue. There we go.
Oh, cool.
But that's what the building looks like. So those are the original stairs and little turrets on the top and the whole bit, just to give you an idea.
What time time for like era of time was that? Like what was like the 17th century, 16th century?
No, it's probably it's not as British Columbia, other than the Aboriginal content, is not as old as out in your neck of the woods.
Okay.
Especially Dennis's, but we're
probably more Dennis's.
About 130, 140 years old. So for here, that is an older location for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it was cool. it's a place that once it's sold, I don't know what people are going to do or what,
Right.
what new owners, but if you've got, what is it? If you've got $7.8 million, it can be yours.
It's not that expensive in the scope of things, actually.
For here.
7.8
For here,
mil.
no.
Yeah.
I'll
When
get
a broken
that
down
out
house
of my
can sell for $1 million here, yeah.
Holy cow, 7.8 mil.
Yeah. Sorry,
I
Dennis.
I should have bought more GameStop.
More AMC.
Now there is another building there that hopefully we'll get into, and it was called the guardhouse, where I didn't know much about it at the time, but I guess it was where the guards used to stay. So we're hoping at this particular go around we'll be able to get into that location, but the main building was the only thing that we knew was left. Anyways, that's us.
I got you. How about you, Dennis?
Well,
Your favorite paranormal location?
Going back to what they were saying,
Okay.
I hope that no one just rips it down and it's gone.
They can't. It's historical.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fantastic.
It's got designations, so
Awesome.
it's a whole bunch of things in order to go through stuff. What had happened with the penitentiary, just to tag on that, is when they tore down the penitentiary, the back end of it, they built condominiums all around this particular location.
Oh.
And in fact, there's and again, if Glenn was here, he could tell you more about it, but there's a cemetery where just across a ravine where the prisoners that had died were buried. And they were all buried with a numbered headstone. That's all there was this round or square headstone with a number on it. That's it. So they, unless you knew who was in that number,
You don't know who they are.
Right.
And a couple of those headstones had fallen into the ravine over time. So,
Oh man.
but Glenn had actually seen a full-bodied apparition on that cemetery at one time.
Oh
So,
wow. That's cool.
Yeah, it can't be torn down.
My favorite location is actually our home base. Again, the fact that Smith's Castle, which is really a house, but that's what they called it, because when Roger Williams sold it to Richard Smith to get financing to go back to England and make Rhode Island a colony, it's been through everything. It's been through, that goes back to the 1600s.
Wow.
Through that area, we've had the Great Swamp War, where militiamen marched from Smith's Castle into southern Rhode Island, and they massacred Narragansett men, women, and children. So when you look at that history, we have the first person who was drawn and quartered. He was a white man who married a Narragansett woman, and he fought against the militia. And then they burned Providence, and they caught him. They took him back to Smith's Castle, and they drawn and quartered him right at the entrance, is what they say.
Whoa.
Right at the entrance when you come down the driveway.
How's the energy at the driveway? Not to interrupt you or anything, but like just the traumatic energy of that. Like, is there any kind of like different energy walking in and around the place like that?
It is, because we went from the 1600s and the 17 and 1800s when it was a plantation. It was over 1,000 acres. It's right on the water. We've got lots of land. Different types of stones that are going to bring everything in.
Yeah.
So you're going through multiple generations. The Navy took it over during World War II. It went into private hands, and then it was bought, but by the Historical Society. And so you get all kinds. Last year we were in there, and we had some people come in who were directly related to Roger Williams through their genealogy. And the house it came alive that night.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Our sensitive.
That's very interesting.
her name is Sandy. We were getting a name kept coming up, Joshua. Or Joshua was he was the man who was drawn and quartered.
Wow.
You know, and I think I sent Nicholas. We got an apparition there as well.
Yeah.
And that was in broad daylight. It was a gentleman who was a police officer. And when we told him he caught something, he did not want to be there anymore.
Oh, wow.
You know, it just freaked him out. You know,
It was that clip you sent me?
Yes.
You know, I could probably play that.
Yeah, you can try.
Right here. Would y'all like me to try to play that real quick?
Absolutely.
All right, stand by. Let me try this real quick. I gotta see this. That might take me a second, so. All right. Oh man, I'm intrigued now. I'm gonna show y'all this. There we go. Go here, then here.
There it is.
Oh, did you see that?
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
I'll play that again. Here we go. Play.
Very cool.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
I gotta see that. I gotta see that again. No, there was nobody moving. Like a camera there wasn't reflecting off of that.
Nothing.
Okay. That is cool. It looks like it's. Wow. Sorry, I gotta keep watching.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know,
what's the piece of equipment that's behind that apparition? Is that one of yours, Dennis?
That black box right there.
Yeah.
No, that's an EMP pump.
Getting the energy.
Oh,
very
going
nice.
right for it. That's a great capture, man.
Then you have the recorder in front of it. And
That's an
play that
amazing
in real time. You know, when you're playing that in real time, I mean, that just goes right by. You know, it takes a steady eye to find that, and that was one of our investigators, Adam, who found that.
Man,
but you know, when you look at, you know, I don't know, were there many slaves in British Columbia?
Well, yeah, the Chinese were used a lot on the building of the railway, and there was thousands of them killed. And in fact, there's, just back this up for a second, there's places we can talk about and there's other places we can't. Right. I think you guys have the same. But this place will be doing a fundraiser for them next year, but it's the Yale Historic, and again, a lot of the tunneling and things like that were done by the Chinese. So a lot of them had passed. We've also got a lot of Aboriginal that have passed over time or been used as slaves, so to speak. I don't know if you've read this in the news or anything like that. We've recently had, and it's moving for members of our group too. But they just found by ground penetration radar 215 children that had been buried at the Kamloops residential school. And so it's a huge. The residential schools up here were just brutal for the kids, and yeah. So I mean, it's there. If you want to talk slaves in that regards, I think that those were used more so than anybody else.
And that's the thing, you know, we have slave medallions. You know, you're talking about, you know, through history, you know, the Smiths actually went to the West Indies and, you know, they captured slaves and they brought them back. And, you know, so when you get to know some of the names of the slaves that were documented,
right,
you're able to speak to them. Caesar is one of my favorites. He's responded multiple times when I've asked for him. And when you go into this house and you can see, you know, you had the indoor slaves and you had the outdoor slaves. You know, and the people who were allowed in the home, you know, they put the kids in the attic. you know, and the only heat that they had in the winter was what was coming up through the chimney, and I can't imagine what it was like, you know, during the summer. But that's my favorite place, you know. Again, the history and being this close, you know, with Massachusetts and Boston and Connecticut, and yeah, we're very lucky to have it. You guys should come down.
Man, I would love to come up
You
there.
can come
Actually,
up.
That's going to be a little bit of a drive for us.
We're still waiting for that border to open too. So.
Oh,
We're still waiting just to get out of the local.
Just to get out of Britain's town. Man, bless y'all's hearts. Hopefully, y'all be able to get out soon and get back to doing what y'all love.
How about yours, Nicholas?
Me, see, I think I've answered this last time, and unfortunately, I can't really say I have a favorite location to investigate. I don't primarily do historical places. I wish I could. Me and my team are pretty much 99.9% residentially focused because there are so many residential cases around. It's hard enough to keep track of those. But if I were, and I think I said this last time, if I were to want to go to a location, hands down would want to be Waverly Hills. Just because,
really? Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I would love to go over to Waverly Hills. I don't know. I feel like if the right people, you know, I've heard stories with different teams going up with like 9 different teams, you know, just going, because like we talked about earlier, Dennis, you know, it costs to go do things like this. You know, not everybody can pull $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 to go on a weekend trip to, you know, investigate one of the greatest places, you know, possibly to ever, you know, have paranormal evidence. So, you know, I think given, you know, if the right circumstances, if it was just like, you know, a handful of people of my choosing, you know, like maybe 5 people, I know that's quite small for such a large facility, but, you know, if we're given to, you know, the whole weekend or something, I think Waverly Hills is where I would like to go, because, and then with each person, you know, it just brings a different, you know, they bring each, you know, different energy to the table, you know, and I think given with certain people, I think the energy going in would definitely bring the energy coming out, I feel. So Waverly Hills would definitely have to be my choice. Now, out of residential cases, something I am getting into now is I'm getting into virgin ground. And I'm talking old historical places. I don't know if y'all seen my video before. I did a trilogy brew house investigation, and it was like 130 years old. And nobody. And what I loved about it is no paranormal team ever investigated this place. And that's what I mean by the virgin ground. I found and claimed yet another piece of virgin ground that was, and I'll put it this way: from the stories that I've been told, there's one of the biggest scandals in Texas happened at this location, and the news didn't cover it because they were all tied in with the police, and it had to do with the police. So just based off of like old, you know, tales of stuff of just this certain location I'm talking about, I'm hoping to do this investigation on Halloween this year. For the, you know, with the veil being thin, I'm hoping that this place, you know, being virgin ground, being another, you know, only team to investigate this place, I think I'm really starting to like these places. So maybe one of these days I can get up and, you know, go hit one of these historical places. For the most part, yeah, I'm starting with small potatoes, man. Yeah, probably the stuff that you guys normally do on a daily basis. You know, your bars and, you know, the buildings and stuff.
But don't you have that one? Sorry, I'm just maybe I'm picking your brain, but don't you have that one particular location that you love where it's got the girl that always talks to you?
Yes, you know, and it's crazy.
You know, you were like, when you talked about that last go around, it was like the goose pimples were happening, and I'm like, holy crap, he loves this place.
Mary's, I'm telling you, I will always and forever be connected to that place. Just for the spirits that I was connected with at that place. It was unreal, you know, that was another piece of ground where no paranormal team investigated before, you know, but it was a residential case, but it also was a spot that an old it sat on the creek, and they call it a creek over there, but it's like real big. And they had a little barge thing that they had over there that basically they were shipping illegal alcohol in and out of Harris County when Prohibition was going on. So there's a lot of little history right in that little area right there, and I think that all tied in with it. But Mary's location, I love that place. I haven't been there in a couple of months. It's probably a reminder. I need to go visit.
You think I wasn't listening?
I know. I wasn't listening. Oh man, but yeah, Mary's. I love it. That was a residential case that stuck. Basically, put a Post-it note on my heart. Like, I love that place, and I definitely need to go back and visit for sure.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you, for both of you, do you find places by recommendation or just history, or do you find them by word of mouth? Do you find them by would you go into a place where you don't feel anything and suddenly you find yourself in there and it's like, oh my God, sort of thing, or just for curiosity, for my own sake, and then and then maybe we'll mention one of ours.
Okay. For as far as me, usually, like I said, with residential cases, it's usually word of mouth. Somebody knows somebody. Hey, get a hold of Nick. Get a hold of his team. They'll take care of it. But as far as like with like these little hole in the wall places that nobody ever, I usually drive by, and if I do a lot of driving around, and if a particular place, like an energy of a place, like there's 4 or 5 places that I want to stop by, but I don't know if it's legally to cross into the property and go venture. Right. So
hi,
I don't avoid that, but
hi, do you have ghosts? Huh?
Yeah.
Right.
Can we talk?
But for me, it's usually a word of mouth.
Okay.
For us, it's a combination of multiple things. Word of mouth absolutely, definitely helps. And in my profession, I'm fortunate that a lot of people, when they're ill, tell you that my house is haunted. I'm a nurse. So, a lot of people, yeah, thank you. You'd be amazed what people tell you when they're ill, because, what else I don't like to go in and talk to my patients like, oh, you're sick, this is what we're going to do. You need to get to know them.
Sure.
We had a girl come to our last night into our investigation who I met at work, and she saw me looking up information for Nathaniel Green's homestead. She goes, oh, what do you do? And, there she was. She came to our group and did an investigation last night.
Awesome.
We also, yeah, and, we reach out to people too. Same like you were saying, Nick, if you're driving by someplace and you see something, we stop and ask. And say, hey, what's going on? I like your house. We don't just go in and say, we'd like to talk to you, but not to you. We want to talk to the ghost. You just kind of go in there and say, that's a beautiful home. What can you do? And again, with how much history we have up here,
right?
It's very easy to go in, and both residential too. A lot of the homes up here are still lived in for generations of people. It's old money that still have their homes. There's a gentleman in Connecticut we're speaking with. He lives in a house that was built in 1774. But he lives in the carriage house. The house that's in there, he uses it for storage. It's just that saying, hey, how you doing, and talking to them. Mm-hmm. I think people are afraid of knowing what's there. And if you make a good reputation for yourself as a paranormal investigator, or your group has a very good reputation, well, then that gets out. And in Rhode Island, we're tough. Taps came from Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
They're in Warwick, and that's the group. So you got to go in there and make a good impression for yourself, and then through the people that you meet that you've investigated, where it be residential, commercial, historical, they say, hey, I know somebody, and then they talk to someone. It just goes down the line, and that's worked out pretty well for us.
Yeah, for us, it's been, I think, I'm like a dog with a bone. I will, if I'll research out, I'm the one that gets majority of the gigs for Cornerstone. But I will try to, I'll research out, okay, where has there been talk of paranormal activity in different locations and haunts and ghosts and spirits or anything like that. And see if, obviously, I think majority of those places, probably like your guys, is they've been hit up at some point in time by another paranormal team, or there's a paranormal team that's in there on a regular basis. So no, they don't want to see anybody else or talk to anybody else. Mm-hmm. But I never take that as a no. I'll just keep on checking back and saying, hey, what's happening and all that sort of stuff. But I also don't leave any stones unturned. Is I will go after. I will try to involve ourselves in places that might not have heard of any paranormal activity or might not have had anything. And then when you talk to them, it's suddenly something comes on like, oh, yeah, I think I've had something that I can't explain. Maybe you guys can come on in and check it out or anything like that.
Right.
We talked this last time, Nick, but I mean, one of our, again, another location. You want to talk about the Kilby in the basement?
Yeah, it was just crazy. It's long story short, it's like a general store that has kind of a children's room, underneath, sitting on a farm and out in the outskirts of Vancouver. And so we were downstairs, and all the equipment was going off. Like the K2s were going off, the REM pod was going off, anything we had.
And this is a location that no one had supposedly done.
Yeah.
Okay.
And and it wasn't the wiring, it wasn't anything like that. And at one point I go, it's a kid. Like, there's a kid just playing with these. It's their toys. They're just so, excited about all this stuff. And I had said at some point something like, you see that light, you see how it won't hurt you? And we didn't hear anything at the time, but listening to the audio later, you had this little kid's voice goes, no. So that was kind of interesting. So when we went back, we took the SLS, and I went down to the same little area and started reading Peter Pan. And sure enough, something came up to listen to me read Peter Pan.
And there's been, cool. Now it's we're going to be going there October 31st. No, October 30th. This year is a Sunday. And one of the things, we do fundraisers for historical locations. And especially in October. This year went by the wayside, but we had something, one or two booked every weekend in the month of October. So we're rebooking a lot of those for next year. But yeah, it it's I think more so for us. We'll get the word of mouth, but we, by knocking on the doors, we find out a lot of places as well.
Right. And just to touch back on what you were talking about, investigating have we tried to investigate places that nobody said, any paranormal, activity were happening? This place that I'm going to next, nobody's ever even talked about any spirits or anything happened. There's never been any ghost tales or anything. There's been a homicide tale, but there's been no spirits. You know what I mean? So
right.
I don't know how it's going to play into that. Hopefully I have to wait and see. But yeah, man, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, our co-founder, Rick, that's him. He leaves no stone unturned. Sometimes I think he goes and digs up the stone to help it.
That's Sarah on my team.
Yeah, there you go. And you know what? You need those people.
Yeah, absolutely. Those people are an absolute blessing, that's for sure. And I was just telling her the other day, I wish that we were talking about, being sensitive as opposed to not being sensitive. And she was saying she wishes she was more like people like me who are sensitive. And I was like, no. I wish I was more like as thorough as she is. Like, I'm telling you, I have yet to find somebody go and, like you say, turn up the stone. I wish I could be like that for sure, man. I wish believe more like that. That's for sure.
Well, but that's why we call it a team.
Yep.
You know.
Well, I mean, the other co-founder of Cornerstone is thinks I'm kind of weird most of the days, anyway. So it's we have a lot of fun doing it. I'll say, oh, by the way, and you gotta. Well, we were to the point of doing 1 to 3 investigations a week.
Wow.
But again, with our numbers, we want to make sure that we give the ability to others on the team to come out and do an investigation. Because it can't just always be a Friday and a Saturday night. People have lives, people have jobs, people have things to do, and their schedules are different. Also, is because there's commercial and other locations like that, you've got to be able to flick the switch and be available for when they're available. Mm-hmm. And if that's 3 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, then you've got to be able to be available at 3 o'clock. And if someone's working that next day, it can't happen.
Absolutely.
So, and you just can't say, "Oh, thanks for giving us the opportunity," but no, it's got to be a Friday night. Well, Jesus, our bar is open at that time.
Mm-hmm. Man, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Blessed all mine are just fortunate enough to be on weekends. Hopefully, usually I'm working on those weekends. So, man, scheduling, making the time for the stuff, and just being available. That's for sure. Excuse me. Should we talk about it? Do you want me to hit the spin wheel again?
Sure.
Should we talk about another
Absolutely.
subject? I don't know how much more time everybody has. We've been on for about 50 minutes now, so.
It's your call there, Nick.
All right. Hey, I'm happy that the spinning wheel is actually working. So, all right. So, with the last one, we got favorite paranormal location. Let's see what we got. Drum roll. Ooh, a good one. Psychomantium. Oh, Psychomantium. All right, let's get back here. All right. Everybody, who knows what a Psychomantium is?
Well, I was going to say you picked one that I'm going to have to shut up on.
You made me go first last time. You go first.
Dennis, are you familiar with the Psychomantium?
Yeah, it's kind of like scribing, isn't it?
Basically, let me get the real definition of this thing. So essentially, it's a. Hold up, real quick. Bear with me. I'm fortunate to be at my desk today.
No kidding.
I know, right? Usually, I was in the living room last time with my squirrels.
Well, I said if I'm invited back, I'll take mine down onto the.
All right, so
we can do a little fishing.
Right? Oh man, that sounds nice. So Psychomantium is basically a small enclosed area set up with a comfortable chair, dim lighting, and a mirror angled so not to reflect anything but darkness.
Yeah.
And it's intended to communicate with spirits of the dead. Me personally, I've never experienced one. My teammate has, and she told me it was absolutely incredible. My thoughts are, have you guys ever experienced one? Have you thought about being in one? And what's your thoughts on that?
I've never actually tried it.
No. Neither have I.
Reminds me of the old Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, thing that kid, whatever that one is. But no, I haven't done. We have other people in our group that certainly have done it, and it was suggested once that I do it, but I haven't done it.
Would you consider doing it?
It would depend on the circumstance at the time.
Gotcha.
And kind of what we were looking for or not looking for. I'm not a big believer in the Zach Baggins, it's a demon, and you got to So if that's what they were looking for me to do for that, it'd be like, no. I mean, my favorite one of that is that time when he's got the SLS in front of the mirror, and he's like, look, there's a figure there. Like, it's you. It's a mirror, it's you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess because of the whole childhood, scary thing, I don't know. I'm prone to do it. How about others?
How about you, Dennis?
I would do it. Absolutely.
You've never done it before either?
I always want to find out what's out there and what's next. We do that now essentially without the mirror. Where you put the headphones on, you're blindfolded, and you ask questions and see what's going on. Add a mirror, why not?
Man, I tried the Estes method.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, like the Estes. Yep.
Yeah.
That is incredible. I use that at least any investigation that I feel deemed as necessary because of just the amazing evidence that we've captured from it. And like I said, it just goes along with tying evidence together. Like if you can get an evidence on 3 separate pieces of equipment, you got your SLS going, your video camera going, and you got an Estes method going and a spirit box. I'm telling you, things like that. I love the Estes method. I love it. And what got me to try that was just to see how it ticked, to see how it worked.
Yeah.
That being said, throw me in this Psychomantium box and throw the key. Lock me in there. I'm cool with it. Let me try it in there because I'm telling you, I would do it. Sign me up.
I'm telling you, Nick, you go to the dollar store and you pick up a cheap children's book and you take that in and you tell me what happens.
Okay.
For me, it works a lot.
And this is what I'll do is I'll even set cameras up in this. But I'm gonna build. This is gonna be another project. Yeah. Holy cow! You just threw another one on my list. I'm gonna do this now. We're gonna build a Psychomantium, and why not do like a YouTube live video? And I think that'd be amazing.
Oh, that'll be cool.
You know what I mean? Okay, cool, awesome.
By all means, please post.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
I already know where I want to try that now that's mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about people, sometimes looking at and I've brought you, Nick, into some conversations I've had with some members of our group, where they'll say this particular piece of equipment is thought is crap, and my discussions with them, it's everybody's is respected for their own opinion or anything like that without stepping on everybody else's face. I think that every piece of equipment out there or every other method that's out there can be disproved. However, I'm a firm believer in that it all depends on the circumstances. It all depends on the situation. It's like the SLS. If it's used properly, it is to me, it's a great piece of equipment, and things like that. People talk about orbs and things like that. You can see in some circumstances, you can absolutely say, well, no, that's dust going by, or you've got a pet that just walked across the floor. But there's circumstances that you can't explain it in no way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. There's also the old school ways of doing investigations too, like the flower on the floor, and seeing if that detracts anything, and so things like that. How do you guys feel about that? Just curious.
Well, as you were saying, every piece of equipment that you look at, you can say, "Oh, that doesn't work," but I think it's what doesn't work in that situation. And I think a lot of times as paranormal investigation or investigators, sometimes we get so reliable on the equipment, we forget to use our senses.
Well said.
What do you hear? What are you seeing? What do you feel? And I think a lot of times, especially you do public investigations, correct?
Yeah.
In British Columbia.
Yes.
People want that visual. One of the things that I built, it's I painted one side red and one side, blue, and I have the antennas coming up, so when you come near it, are you a boy or a girl? You touch which side, and people like that visual effect. When I'm by myself, I pretty much have my recorder.
Yeah.
I have my ultraviolet, I have my IR, but I like my recorder, and I like to sit there and kind of get the feel for where I'm at and then what's going to happen. And I rely on my senses. Last night, was a perfect example. sitting there, and one of our other investigators, Tricia, you know, I said to her, look at my leg, and it was only one leg. I had goosebumps that were standing, straight up. Nothing else. Just that one leg. And it was about 78 degrees, inside the house. So I think that's what we've got to remember,
Right. Absolutely true. And you hit it right on the head. People fail to use what equipment they have already, and that's like the biggest one is themselves.
Right.
The sounds, listen for the sounds, this smells, you know what I mean? Certain people have certain smells that they smell. One in particular, to go back on Mary's, I smelled cologne there all the time, and it was an alcoholic cologne. And I think that's where I picked up most of my biggest senses was back in the day. I still use them to this day, but to go to what Paul said, my team implements old technology with new technology. We still use dowsing rods because I feel and your psychics and your sensitives will verify this, because it's basically anybody with dowsing rods can be a sensitive, because you can walk over to a spot and the dowsing rods will go off where a sensitive will, can walk and feel, so that plays into perspective there. But then you also got, I'm particularly fond of my full spectrum camera. Love it, because I'm telling you, that thing does more wonders for me than any of my equipment does. But I don't know. I'm to go back what you said, I love my recorder as well, just as much, because nothing to me is more physically evident than an EVP. Yeah. But what you're saying is true, is that people don't want that. They want to see. They want to see this. But like I said, that's where the full spectrum kind of comes into play for me, because it's like I'm very fortunate to be able to capture some great things with my full spectrum camera. So to go into question, we use all the equipment, from dowsing rods to flour to a simple, or to a cat ball. All right.
Yeah.
Cat toy. That is the biggest new craze. We've been doing it since probably, I want to say, since last June, about a year ago. Actually, about a year ago was today. Holy cow. Today, June 13th, was a year from when we did the Trilogy brew case. And that's when we had cat balls. When we first used them was a year ago today. That's crazy. But, something as simple as the light up cat balls, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take a book. I never even thought about that. Taking in a book where people claim that there's children. Yeah, I think that's a phenomenal
trigger objects.
Idea.
We use trigger objects as much as we possibly can, pretending and usually we're having a sensitive or psychic on a team kind of helps us, we can kind of walk through and be like, man, it feels like there's a little kid here, you just feel that playful energy, so it's definitely good to bring books. I used to bring Kung Fu Panda toys and different items like that with me on each investigation, just depending on where I was. More specifically children, because I'm not really sure what adult spirits are really triggered to. Your children, I would assume, would be triggered for dolls, toys, books. Books is a good one. I'm gonna have to use that one as well. I never even thought about using books. For me, it was always just what's gonna grab a kid's attention. Probably be a toy, but who knows, a book as well. Oh,
yeah, marbles.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, marbles. Janine came up with, or came that up as a thought, because we had used it I had used it in the projection room of the theater, and I put them,
writing this down.
Put them one inside the other. Now again, it's there has been or a rumor of a shadow figure up in the projection room, and that was kind of unique, because we went to the restaurant next door after the investigation just to unwind and things like that, and we were talking, and the person came over and said, I overheard you, and yeah, we've seen the shadow figure in the back of our restaurant, which is right next to the theater. But yeah, set them out and then take a picture, or take a picture and then or set a video camera on it and then see if they move towards each other. It's kind of unique.
Right. I say I implement a
dog's toy. We've used a squeaky toy. because Janine here tends to be the animal whisperer in our group.
I'm writing that one down.
He's always
got some good ones.
we do this museum, and it's up there, and tell him about the dog.
Yeah, I can hear the dog barking.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little dog, and a big dog that didn't like us there. And one time it was kind of, how a dog kind of goes like this to you. It was doing that. Like all of a sudden my elbow's going around. I go, there's a dog here, right? It's kind of fun.
Yeah. So, but just it. I think it all depends on the situation. Like there's Glenn and Janessa. They have a Boo Bear, and we have been in both elementary school and a bar for lack of a better word, but it's been the elementary school. My goodness, we were in the one classroom where there was thoughts of some paranormal activity, and that Boo Bear would not shut up. It just kept on going and going, and I said, "Is there a problem with this?" And he said, "No, it's like an EMF detector inside of an animal." And sure enough, that sucker was going off like you would not believe. So you never know.
I made a Boo puppy.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, that's pretty. That's amazing. You got to.
And you were talking about the trigger objects. I've done the paranormal music boxes. And so I program them to be wherever we're going. We did Nathaniel Green Homestead in Rhode Island, and we played the March to Boston. When they attacked Boston, and we got some great things going with that one.
And you make a good point. Using music boxes, and I have to give credit to Sarah on this one. My number 2 investigator. She does that thoroughly. Every investigation we go to, whatever, she throws that time period on, like that music, and it played so well, and we got some amazing responses when she played some 1920s or some 1800s music from that trilogy group plays from that time area. You make a really good point, and that it works really well. Absolutely, they react to it. In my personal opinion, they react really well to that music and stuff for sure. That's a good one.
Right. Dennis, you're more than welcome at any time to post anything about equipment that you've built, and this might be a side thing, but please, if you think you've got some stuff that be of interest, you're more than welcome to post that on our group at any time.
I'm gonna add him to the page today, the Cornerstone page today. That way you can join in, and we have some amazing conversations there. There's old historic locations that are detailed on there. I share some DIY stuff. There's some people. It's a great paranormal community. It's my favorite paranormal community on Facebook by far.
We do it well. Thank you, but it's a safe place. We don't want it so people can just
nobody criticizes nobody's opinions. Everybody's opinion matters, and that's what's important. Yeah,
because it takes a lot to talk about the paranormal. You might have a story to tell, but you're too afraid to tell it. We want to make it so that people can actually tell that story, and then it clicks on other people, because they can say, "Oh, I've had that experience," or they'll ask a question and do it that way. It's kind of it's fun to see the members from around the world talk about similar situations.
Yes,
that's the thing that really I find a lot fun about. So
that's the whole thing with the Estes experiment. That's how they did that. They had multiple groups in different locations, and you had one person asking the questions, and did you get the same response? I think that would be an incredible thing to do. Heck, you could do it on a parachat.
Wow, that's a good idea, Nick. That is an incredible idea. And you can invite certain teams or whatever.
That is a good idea. I don't even know why I didn't even think about that. I'm over here trying to
find. That would be great.
That is a good idea. Okay, I'm glad I thought of that. I'm glad
I'm glad you did. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
That's funny. All right. Well, I'm trying to invite him to the page, but I'm not friends with you. What the heck? Dennis, what the heck?
I'm not really good with the whole Facebook thing,
Well, he's still in the mountains.
Oh, you're still in the mountains over there? Can I at least fly me over there or something? Leave me come over there, man. Actually, I ain't gonna take this beautiful outside right now. I ain't gonna take that away.
In Rhode Island, we all live near the ocean, so everyone from Rhode Island goes to New Hampshire, and everyone from New Hampshire comes to the ocean.
Where I'm here in Houston, so the beach is an hour away. But my boss is from Connecticut. He's from New Haven, so.
Okay, yeah, he's right down the road from me.
Yeah, the whole company from up there in Connecticut. So, man, that's cool.
I'm 4 miles from the ocean.
Man, that's awesome right there.
We're within walking distance.
Yeah,
but that's.
No.
I'm just kidding.
That helps. Breathing.
Hey, I could walk to mine too. It would take me a little while, but I could get there.
Yeah, I could take me a little bit.
Oh.
I'll probably be there like three days, but.
Yeah, I know.
Houston's a great city, though.
It is. It's quite large, and I think that's what I love about just Texas in general. Is just what I love. There's so many historical landmarks, so many historical places that I don't even think most Texans even know about. I mean, there's over 50,000 historical cemeteries. I mean, that's a lot. And I mean, I film historical cemeteries like on the regular, and for me, that's a benefit because I can go to each historical cemetery and I do a Serenity series, like a cemetery Serenity series. Because most people they think the cemetery is like, oh, there's gonna be all this bad stuff there, but I go and showcase the beautiful side of it. The birds, what you see, during the day, what it's meant to be, like a final resting place for loved ones, like a beautiful place. So I love that about Texas.
Right down the road from me is Nenegret Park, which was a naval air station, which George Busch flew out of during World War II.
Very cool.
I have a cousin who lives in Houston. Do you know him? I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding about the cousin, but
Hey, I probably if he's involved in paranormal, I probably do know him.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I don't know about that, but yeah, he knows I am.
They're not normal people like us.
Exactly.
Well, no. I mean, I don't want to tell family secrets, but yeah. So once at a family funeral, they all approached me. So it's like
in the back at the having sandwiches and drinks, and it was sort of like the entire family sort of came around Janine and was like having this conversation about different things, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's okay.
And I was telling you what, I'm like, let's not get into it today, okay? And sure enough, they approached me. I'm like, oh no, here we go.
But people love to hear the stories.
Yeah. Me in particular, I do. I love the stories. Love
the stories.
We just met our next door neighbor. In the building, with like this, right?
Yeah.
And
full time. Yeah.
He was, just going back and forth, and I looked over at Janine, and we were having a nice little glass of wine in our back little area, and so I looked at her, and she says, "Oh yeah, you're gonna do it." And I'm like, "So, do you want to know what we do for fun?" And I just told him, and it was like,
as I start to choke on my wine, oh, here we go.
And so yesterday. We were doing planning some more stuff, and he looked over the fence and he said, I was at this, meeting some friends, and I mentioned to them that I'm next door neighbors to people that do paranormal investigation. And he said, you would not believe how much of a conversation piece that was. He said, suddenly the center of attention for the entire gathering. So,
it either goes one way. They think you're crazy, or they tell you their story. Right? There's no happy middle.
I like to keep them right in the middle, so they're not quite sure.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting hobby we have, and like Janine always says, you gotta have a hobby, right?
Oh man.
That's what I said to Nicholas. This is one of the most expensive hobbies that you can have as well. And that's why doing the
It can
DIY
be.
stuff.
It can be.
It can be.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be.
We're fortunate in that, with some of the team members that have been around for a while, they've amassed some other different pieces of equipment. Janine and I don't have a full spectrum camera. We have 3 people in the group that do. So if we're going to investigation that we might need that piece of equipment, it's like, here, go ahead, use it, and do it that way. So it helps when you can work out that way.
Oh, for sure.
I still love my handy cams.
I still have one.
On tape. Yep.
I still have the old Sandy. I have to have a Wondershare program to convert that disk data to actual hard data. But that's how I was able to get all those amazing freaking clips that I had from my Mary's investigations, because I didn't think I was ever going to be posting that anywhere. I just was recording it because that's just what I did back then. And
I like it because. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just I was going to say that's why I like I still use the Handycam too. But just to go back on what we all said, it doesn't matter what piece of equipment you have. It's it's what behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like what you're actually using. Using this with this, or using yourself with this. Like it all ties together. All ties together.
Yeah. And again, it's like and you guys probably get the similar questions. Is you get people that want to be part of your group or come on a natural investigation, and we just actually say, watch for the public ones, and then come on out and partake with it and take it from there. But because if I bring on another person, Janine's going to kill me. Basically. So I'm going to be a spirit. So
basically.
Well, at least we know where to come find you.
Right. I'll bring the cat balls. Move this for me, Paul. Move this over from
Spider-Man? What?
Yeah.
But one of the first things, and you probably get asked this too, is I'm just interested in doing this. I watch all the shows. What should I get for equipment? And I said, there's 2 things I would, use yourself, like you said, Dennis. Use whatever, use your ears and your eyes and work with the surroundings. Number 2 is get a good digital voice recorder. I think that's for equipment wise that you have to put money out. Spend $100 and get you don't have to go to get a Zoom 5 or something like that, right?
Right.
You can get a good digital voice recorder and get I think some, like you said, best DVPs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
My Olympus, $40, and I'm telling you that thing gets amazing audio.
Yeah, I have an Olympus too. Yeah.
And do they, Craigslist? I've gotten lots of things off of Craigslist. People sell digital recorders, and they don't know what they have.
Yeah.
So they're putting it on Craigslist for $20.
I
call those people right up.
I frequently shark feed the Facebook Marketplace world, because that's where I get the majority of my GoPros for, and I can get usually, and since I've taken apart so many of them now and put them back together, now I know the GoPro 4, if y'all ever are looking, whenever I do finally post a video, you need to secure y'all some GoPro Hero 4s, because that's going to be like the best quality with the easiest conversion, you know what I mean? So I can find a GoPro Hero 4, which people, they'll sell them on Amazon $150 to $180, where I can get 1 or 2 of them for like $60 on Facebook Marketplace. So I totally shark feed the Facebook Marketplace, because I hate to say it, people are naive, they don't know what they got, but they know what they got, but now there's like GoPro Hero 9s, there's GoPro Hero, all these Maxes, all these different ones. A Hero 4 is way super outdated. So anywhere between a Hero 2 and a Hero 4 are really good. And you can get those cheap.
The Connect.
Yeah. I have people donate those to me. Like,
oh my. Right. we got a spare one, just I think I'll take $20 sort of thing. And
if I were to able to get somehow a good connection on some kind of person that's got some good tablets, I could literally mass produce SLS cameras. Like, I have all the parts of that stuff. Like, that's crazy.
You can't get them anymore because of the parts.
Which ones?
for the computer, for the tablets.
Oh,
It's
really?
getting the parts now. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's the same thing. You get on Amazon, you get yourself, a carrier for. I'll have to send you a picture of what I did. I just got a C
Okay.
carrier. I mounted my own stuff on it. I put some screws up, so I've got my infrared on one side. I've got my recorder on the other. I have a good flashlight on the other. It cost me $16, and you go to it.
Right.
Oh, you've got to send us that stuff too. Have you? Just for my own personal? I know we're sort of. I'm sort of everywhere. But for full spectrum cameras, did you make your own, or did you go to the marketplace and buy them that way?
Myself, I have one halfway built. They're super simple to build, super simple, and it's as easy as there's on these. And so what I had to do was, like I said, the hardest thing is taking apart the Hero 4. Is basically it's all glued together. So basically what you'll need is a heat gun, and the heat gun will basically allow you to take the cover plate off. Actually, if you give me 1 second, let me go grab it real quick. It's right over here in my doll-infested closet.
For sure.
1 second.
Then, yeah.
Dolls.
That's cool. How do you so what type of skills or what type of talents, that's a better word, does your team have, Dennis? That you have a historian, you have a tech guy. Do you have people with that consider themselves mediums or psychics, or
we do have our medium. We have our historian. We have our investigators. We're a small group. We're looking at maybe 8 people that are involved, in an investigation. So everyone's bringing their own talents with them.
Yeah, but 8
doing
to
the DIY
11 is
stuff.
not that small.
No, small. You're looking at the small fry. Okay, I have. 3
Yeah, but I mean,
active.
it's managing it. That's the other thing when it gets bigger.
Right.
So check this
But
out.
we meet regularly. Oh yeah.
So this is my mod. This was a GoPro Hero 4 Silver Edition. It didn't have the screen on the back, but as you can see right here, there was a GoPro Hero case that went on the front, a little plastic build.
I can't see you, Nicholas. I'm still in the.
You're still in the forest?
Yeah, I'm still in the forest.
Really?
Yeah.
I gotta see how I don't know how to change it.
Okay, so you took the plate off on the front?
Yeah, you take the plate off, and so you see this lens right there, right? These lenses in here.
Yeah.
They come out. They twist out just like this, right? I'm twisting out. I don't know if you can see that.
He's doing a how-to as we speak.
Well, I'll show you what I've got to so far, right? And I'm going to show you how easy where the easiest part of this is right? And I have to take this out to show you. So you take the lens out, right? Okay, see, the lens is out of there now. You see?
I can see you.
Yeah, you see? So here's a lens right here. See the lens right there? Okay. Yeah. You see that little reflective piece right there?
Yeah.
Okay, you see that? That piece with a heat gun is just glued in there. That piece will come out. That is your spectrum element. That is basically what makes the color so vibrant. You take that out and it's everything's full spectrum. It's all colors then. So you basically heat that little lens with a little heat gun, and you pry it out with a little pair of pliers, and that piece comes out, and you just simply twist it back into your camera, just like that.
Oh. And then it's full spectrum.
Well, you have to adjust it. Yeah. Then the adjustment comes into play, and so that's when you got to hook it up to like a tablet or something.
Have you tried it on a actual like a larger camera too?
See, not yet, but I want to do these because I know the resolution on these. You get the best resolution with the most compact size. That's what you want. Basically, that's what I want whenever I'm investigating. I don't want to have to carry a lug around this, this big old, I don't know how big the cameras are nowadays, but I just know these right here are amazing. And the fact that, you can, it's as simple as taking that little color filter out and focusing it in. That's it. That is it. You take a GoPro. It's got 60 frames per second, 1080p, which is pretty good. I mean, it's still YouTube quality, even better. You know what I'm saying? It's still good YouTube quality. And it's going to be in full spectrum. And then the only thing you have to do is add stick it on a stabilizer, and then add an external light on there. You're out $16.
I gotta close Janine's ears off because she's got a degree in cinematography, so she's going to be doing some wild shit now. So.
Oh man, but yeah, this is my little half build project right now. Like I said, I'm in the middle of filming that video, and as soon as I can get it done, man, I'm going to share it to the world, and everybody can
mount that right on a ball cap.
No, see, I'm already past that. All right,
so okay.
All right, so y'all want to know something? Y'all want to hear a secret project? Y'all want to hear a secret project? All right, I'm gonna say it ain't gonna be a secret once I tell everybody.
Are you recording? We should be recording this now. Okay.
Okay, maybe I should stop recording.
No.
I don't know how much more time y'all got. We got like an hour and a half in.
Don't care.
Don't care. Okay. All right.
Well, duck's going in around 4, but so we got time.
All right. So you know what? I will wait till after we push stop to record it because I don't want to tell everybody this yet. I don't want to tell everybody. You're gonna have to wait for that. You're gonna have to wait for that. Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's pick another subject, shall we?
See, I told you, I go everywhere. If it's it's like before it leaks out, I want to make sure it gets out from here. So
gotcha. All right, so I'll tell you what, this will be our last subject of the day, and then I'll tell you all a little bit some fun stuff that's going on. All right, here we go. Please be something cool. Favorite drink or food on an investigation? Oh, that's a good one.
Before or after the investigation?
I'll tell you what. Before and after. Let's do before and after.
All
right, before. Ready? Go, Dennis. Let's hear what you got.
I drink Diet Pepsi. That's my favorite drink. Yeah, I know. Very exciting, huh?
I think of Pepsi and I think of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Pepsi. Do you drink it while you're on an investigation? Do you drink it before and after? Or is it just like is it a ritual thing? Because I know the thing about rituals.
It's a ritual.
Okay.
I try not to drink it on an investigation because a lot of places don't have a bathroom that's easily available.
Makes sense.
You get to that certain age, that's got to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Any particular food? Any particular food at all? Any snacks that you have?
No, I really don't eat during an investigation. I'm afraid I'm going to miss something.
I gotcha.
We take breaks, but I'll start listening to someone's recorder or.
I think that's usually what I don't mean like during. Okay, let me rephrase. Not during an investigation. Okay, let's maybe a drink or snack before and or after the investigation. Yeah. Never during. Because I don't ever. Well, I lie. I usually have one drink with me, but I'll tell that later.
Once you bring the food out, all concentration is lost. That's right? Yep. You can't get that focus back. Yeah. You can't.
Exactly.
We usually before we go on an investigation, we'll meet at a restaurant that we go to, and we'll have dinner. We'll talk about what we're going to do, or who's having a party, or it's just to loosen everybody up before we get going.
Okay.
Yeah. I eat beforehand, and the entire team hears it during the investigation.
We all tag it. Paul's stomach.
Yep.
Paul's stomach.
Guaranteed.
Somebody on my team like that too.
Before an with not enough hours, it's not a good thing.
That's ghost for Paul.
Yeah. Seriously, they will tag me.
Well, that's when you're holding the recorder down at your stomach, you're going, is that a growl? No, that's somebody's stomach.
Yeah, no, it's usually me.
Well, we're usually, and that's another good thing is my team and I were usually good at tagging ourselves, and you'll hear, it's like, oh, that was my stomach, and then it's like, okay, time to roast them. Well, everybody, that was Sarah's stomach over here talking, or whomever it was, but yeah. How about you, Janine? What about you?
Before?
I don't do too much before. Same thing. I don't want to have to run to the bathroom all the time. And afterwards, I do like some wobbly pop just to kind of unwind and tell some tales of the evenings.
What's a wobbly pop?
Yeah, what is that?
Anything that
A
makes
wobbly
it a little
pop. I'm writing
wobbly.
this down. I'm writing this down.
Is that a Canadian expression? So in my case, it's wine. It could be beer. It could be, anything.
That's cool. Okay. I'm like, what brand is this? Wobbly Pop? I gotta look this up.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's good stuff. Oh man. All right. So for me, I'm telling you, they should sponsor me by now. The Sweden should sponsor me. Okay. Red Bull. Are you listening? Red Bull. That's my game, right? Before, during, and after, I gotta have 1 or 2 Red Bulls on me for sure. Just for the simple fact. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, well,
eyes go open, you become Bugs Bunny or what?
Well, for me, it was just a lot of the time. Y'all knew this back in the day. I investigated solo for probably 8 years. I investigated solo. So during, which being also a sensitive and an empath, and just being able, you tend to get drained by going by yourself. I've come, my opinion. I've been in places and where I haven't been drained at all, but I've been in places where I could barely walk out of that place. So. Yeah. For preparation, I take the Red Bull and I have me a Red Bull and I gotta have chocolate. Gotta have chocolate. Mm-hmm. Gotta have chocolate at my investigator. Just because like you said, in these residential cases, like there have been some times where there have been some strong spirit energy, and it will drain you depending on where you at. And sometimes you just need a little pick you up, a little piece of a little Rolo or a little Reese's Pieces or something like that. And then a Red Bull, I'm good.
See, that's why it depends on the time of the investigation. For if it's going to be a late one, or we know for a fact that it's going to go to the wee hours of the morning, or depending on that, then for me, I will start caffeinating myself. I'll start drinking coffee, a few hours beforehand, just to be hyper and stay awake. And afterwards, I'm like Janine. We'll have some wine and okay, I'm going to admit something, and it's something you're probably going to go online and order it from Amazon. But Hawkins cheesy. Hawkins cheesy. HAWKINS. They're made in Belleville, Ontario, and if you've never had them,
you're lucky.
Oh. Shame.
Oh, shame.
No, they're really good.
Man,
they're really good. And so
I gotta ask you this: is it as good as gravy and French fries?
Yes.
No. No.
That's a Canada thing, right? Gravy and French fries, right?
Well, you're talking poutine.
Poutine, they throw some cheese on
that's
top
what I'm thinking.
Too.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Poutine.
Yeah.
So I had to learn what a yoo-hoo was, because I didn't know what a yoo-hoo was.
A yoo-hoo was? Oh man.
Yeah, we don't have them here.
It's not chocolate. It's not milk, and it's not water. It's chocolate drink.
Yeah.
Chocolate drink, and they've had them since I was a kid. Like,
wow, weird.
It's always been. It's just. it's just a chocolate drink. That's all it is. Nothing. They had chocolate soldier too. I think was another one when I was a kid. But
it all depends on the location too. If we can. If we're fortunate, and we have been very fortunate in some locations where we stay overnight, where we've got accommodation provided to us, we'll, everybody will bring something, and the table will be full of different types of snacks and things like that. And like Janine says, it's a place where we can diffuse and talk about things and figure out, okay, did we have this, or what's going to be doing next, or anything. We've seen some of our members get a little bit funky and really let down their hair and enjoy themselves. And I think it's also a really,
it's that wobbly pop.
Drink or not, but it's a really good bonding thing for the group.
Tell them lay off the wobbly pop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that every day now. I'm bringing Canada to Texas.
There you go.
Every day I'm like, hey, I'm going up to the bar to get some wobbly pop. Anybody want to come?
And they're like,
that's awesome.
That's
funny. That's awesome.
But yeah, it's and then depending on usually if it's a late night and early morning, we'll try to meet up somewhere in the morning for breakfast somewhere. and do it that
I
way.
like that.
We're fortunate again that some of the locations that we're at, where we've stayed in the upstairs and restaurants on the downstairs, and we've been able to. And that's another place that's been really active for us. It's called the Sasquatch Inn.
Ooh.
And it's
I like the name.
It's not it's in an area that is a lot of activity for Sasquatch, but it's also Aboriginal, and so there's a lot of history for that there. But there's a lot of activity in the place. So and it is a place where they've been very, very nice to us, and we've stayed there. We've had some really unique activity. We had in one of the rooms was two of our medium psychics went into this room where there supposedly has had a lot of. We've actually caught different things on our equipment there too, but they just went in and sat on the bed, thinking, we'll just feel out the room. And we're still setting up the SLS down the hallway to catch things, and because there's children that run up and down the hallway, and they come running out of the room, and they're like hair's on fire sort of thing, and they're just running down the room, and we're like, what the hell's going on? Both of them had been felt that they were grabbed around the ankles on this bed.
Ooh, yeah.
So we went into the room, turned on the lights, and looked under the bed just to see maybe someone's playing a joke or anything like that. But it's a bed that's got,
the panels down.
The panels right down to the floor, so there's no bare spots.
There's no, man.
But we've been fortunate, caught some stuff there, and they have absolute phenomenal food.
Anything Bigfoot related? Did y'all get to go Bigfoot watching or anything? Or
we just one of our newest investigators is our Aboriginal liaison. And
sweet. That's cool.
He's been with the band for 35 years. He actually got permission from the elders to be part of our group.
Wow,
and
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, he didn't want to do it, and we didn't want to do it any other way because that would be disrespectful.
Absolutely,
and,
man.
He's got a wealth of knowledge on that, but Sasquatch happened to be one of them. And he's been in his place, and he's heard wood knocks and things like that at the Sasquatch Inn, just around up in the area. The Aboriginal group there actually calls them their god because it's part of their. They've always run across them. They don't want to offend them or anything like that. So, we'll be adding that. We'll be doing that once the river level,
the doors open
and things like that. Once the doors
once we can cross the highway.
Yeah.
Your RCMP don't turn us back. Yeah.
He's got a lot of locations that we'll be going to. Some of them being burial sites. One of them being 2,800 years old, so it's going to be interesting to go. And these are places that no one else knows, and so it'll be like virgin territory again, Nick. It'll be places to go and just
that places like that are awesome. Yeah.
But we can go in there with the respect and everything else, and also be part of that. But anyways, that gets off the topic of what to eat, but.
Nothing's off the topic. I mean, to say that nothing's off the topic.
He came as a guest investigator on one of our investigations, and he actually dries his own salmon. So I got some salmon to nosh on, which is neat.
That is cool.
Now, can I ask you guys a question with the Aboriginals?
Sure.
Do they have little people of the forest there? Like here in Rhode Island, we have the McCaw, which are little people of the forest. They've been here forever. We have a lot of stone walls in Rhode Island, and when they were building the stone walls, you can tell where they've left openings for the little people to go from one place to another and through.
I don't know.
Well, there's a gentleman that Aboriginal that Janine had the opportunity to interview, and his name is Thomas Seawood. If you get a chance, take a look at his podcast or at his website or his Facebook page called Sasquatch Island.
Okay.
And he is in the northern section of Vancouver Island, and he has had quite a lot of interaction with Sasquatch and over the years. And we'll take people out to these. If we ever get up there, we've got the opportunity to be in the longhouse and also go out and do investigation with him. He might be one of the people to talk with regarding that. For me, I haven't come across that.
What was his last name? Thomas what?
Seawood. Sewyd.
Seawood. Okay.
And yeah, it's called Sasquatch Island. But he's good people. He knows his shit. I tell you. He's full on. He knows. He goes out on, like I said, on these investigations to remote places that it'd be hard for just normal people to go out and
right
with. So yeah, he's a cool individual.
Yeah. I just haven't had that conversation with anyone native, so I can't speak to that, whether they do or they don't. I don't want to assume.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, we haven't come across that, so to speak. UFOs is a big thing. I mean, obviously, it's a big thing now, especially with you guys. She's done so much stuff interesting on it. One of our members has actually had encounters with UFOs, and so it's a big thing up here too. You know,
so speaking of UFOs,
obviously Pacific Northwest and up into our neck of the woods, yeah, lots of it. But UFO, definitely, for sure.
So I got a little piece of awesome information. So like I told you, I primarily do residential cases, right? So
right.
I currently have a client, and he's given me permission to say this. So to go on this whole UFO, he was stationed over in Woodbridge, Bentwater in 1984, I want to say. You remember what happened over there in the UK?
UK, in the forest.
He was stationed at that base, Woodbridge.
Wow.
He was stationed there. And
did he go out to the site, or
they wouldn't let anybody go out to the site because I guess he was there, I guess, I don't know, maybe a couple of years after that happened. So when he went to get out there, it was, I guess, kind of like they wouldn't let anybody go out there, but it was all grown up, so he was not able to go out there even if he could. So, but I thought that was a very interesting piece. We were talking about UFOs, and I instantly thought of one of my clients, and he was an awesome guy, retired Air Force, awesome guy. So,
my brother was stationed at NORAD in the 70s, and he was saying back then that things were like flying, that he had like no reasonable reason how they could do what they were doing, like flying at 90 degrees, going up and as fast as they were. He said, we don't know what they are.
He was one of the top people that from Canada that was involved with NORAD down in the States. Sorry, Dennis, you cut out.
No, I'm sorry. Our group saw a UFO last month.
Really?
Yeah. We just finished an investigation. We're all sitting out in the parking lot, you know. Some people have some wobbly pop.
Wobbly pop.
I love it.
To unwind, but we looked up into the sky, and it was cigar shaped. It was bright lights. It came through. It stopped. Now everyone's trying to, get a picture of their camera. As soon as we got our cameras out, gone.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
He just froze. Dennis
Yeah,
is
he
frozen.
froze.
He froze in the
You're
You're
forest.
not allowed to tell that story, Dennis.
Yeah, you're not allowed. Somebody don't
he's
want you
been
to know that,
abducted.
man. Oh no.
Have you guys ever had loss of
I'm
time?
back.
Loss of time?
Which I
man,
tend to be abductions or something like that.
the only loss of time that ever I can imagine is actually whenever I find myself in meditating. I meditate, and this is so weird. I meditate while I drive.
Yep.
Okay, and then
You're dangerous.
1 second I'm at my house, and then the next second I'm 3/4 of the way to work, and it's like, I got on the, oh man, how'd I get here? And that happens quite often, actually. But like I said, it happens whenever I initiate meditation, and I only meditate whenever I drive. I don't know why. Don't know why. It happens.
Wow, Dennis.
But
do you ever any of you or your team loss of time?
Not that I'm aware of. You know, I've met people who have had that happen. You know, much like Nicholas, you know, I meditate too. Not when I'm driving. But, you know, everyone needs an adventure.
right.
But no, but you know, I've spoken to people who've had that happen, but no, it's never happened to me. Like I said, we pulled up those cameras and that thing was gone. It was amazing.
That's cool.
That is really cool. The only UFO footage that I've ever captured is actually on my YouTube channel, and a lot of people speculate it's the TRB-3s, the little the man-made ships that they try to reduplicate, or their little test ships that they try to make. But these ones that I captured, of course, they do the triangle and then they form and disappear, and then form back up and they're in the triangle again. So that's been the only one I've ever seen. But you know what's really crazy is down, and a lot of people don't know this. Me being a weirdo that I am, I know what to look for in build. There's a CIA building that's down the street from the place where I caught the UFOs on video, or the whatever they were. But there's also so many random lights. It's a CIA building that's in a private airport. That's I don't even know how to explain it. It's just on the north side of this town where I actually caught this stuff. But driving up and down the freeway, there's a farm to market road that runs parallel with it, and you run along that highway and you keep going, and then you'll see the airport on your right hand side. The CIA building's in the far back left. But going up that particular road, I on personal accounts have seen more strange lights, and I'm talking lights that look like they're like this. They're horizontal, and then they turn up like this, and then they go down. And this I've seen on multiple occasions, and I wish I had the equipment to night film. You know what I mean? Like I don't have the night filming, because I'm telling you, if I were to night film in my area, I would probably capture some pretty strange things. So
see, for us here up in Canada, and again, it's something you can research out, but it's close to you, Dan, is the Shag Harbor in Nova Scotia, and the UFO that actually disappeared into the ocean. And there's lots of research. Take a look at that on Shag Harbor UFO, and it'll come up with all sorts of different stories.
1967, I believe.
Yeah, USOs.
Yeah.
Unidentified submerged objects. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like Janine's brother said, it's in the ice.
Well, I like.
Yeah. No, there's more of a story here that
But we can't prove it, so I don't want to say too much. But yeah. So anyway, I've always had a fascination with them, and it doesn't necessarily mean alien either. It's just if you're seeing, everybody's familiar with the Tic Tac footage and stuff. It's like, okay, if you don't know what it is, like, shouldn't we?
Right.
Like, shouldn't somebody know what it is?
Yeah.
It could be from Earth. I'm not saying it's from some other galaxy, but wouldn't it be nice to know what it is?
This is my opinion only, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't feel that UFOs are alien in a sense, like species wise. in my personal opinion, I feel that these UFOs we're seeing, I believe they're time travelers.
Yes, well, that's part of, could be interdimensional.
Same with
Interdimensional
Sasquatch.
travelers.
For sure, for sure.
Yes.
Sasquatch, same
I
thing.
lean more and more that way every day.
I do too, and you know, it's just I don't know. I was like, what else could it be? Like, I mean, yeah, could it really be a race of some kind of alien from a whole distant? Nobody would ever know that. But I mean, you can actually theoretically, like, you know, hypothetically think, you know, yeah.
Oh,
We lost your audio.
We lost you, Nick.
We lost you.
I'll be right back. My dog really wants to go outside.
Okay. There.
Hold up.
There you go.
How about now? Can you hear me?
You're better.
You're back.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you know, to me, I feel it's just more realistically possible, you know, considering the fact that, you know, there's possible wormholes that could connect, you know, they thought it was 5 dimensions, it could be 25 dimensions, it could be 100 dimensions. I just feel that if it's somebody traveling to and from these times, you know, these different.
I think this last year and a bit, year and a half, has been more prevalent for stories and events and seeing things than ever before, because people have had that time on their hands. Mm-hmm. So what do you do besides getting to know, you know, your significant other or the people you're living with better? Right. Or and looking more about, and I think that it involves a lot of the paranormal discussion too, because I have time in my house or my apartment that these things are happening, and can we, you know, I'm curious as to what that's about. Same with looking up in the sky and seeing, you know, I've had a lot of people send clips to me, and it's been, you know, the satellites that are going over, but again, they don't know what it is, so they're saying, is this because I'm looking up at the sky, right? Is this something that's, you know, unidentified, or is it something that, you know, things like that? It's just like when the rockets go up from Cape Canaveral and it's going up to the space station or anything like that, and you see that stream of stuff stream of rocket going up there, and now they're taking a picture of it because they haven't put 2 and 2 together. Right. So, yeah. Sorry, Dennis. Talking about people have had a lot more time on their hands, so they are seeing a lot more paranormal things than ever before.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. People are paying attention now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Is a fact. All right, well.
And that's a subject called food. We segued. Oh my God, you guys are crazy.
Man. I'm telling you, man, this has been great. Well, I just want to say, if anybody has anything else to say, please. We're at the end of it. We'll just call this the conclusion. So if anybody has any final thoughts on anything you'd like to say, please feel free to say it.
No, I'm just looking forward to see because I guess June 20th is the day of disclosure for down, particularly in the U.S. Do I think anything will be disclosed really at that point? Probably not. But it's interesting that there are some people poking the bears, so to speak, to maybe find out more about all these UFOs.
Right. It's on it's on the news channels coming out of the States. I mean, now they're doing stories about it on CNN and things like that. So it's
60 Minutes.
It's you know, you're getting a lot more coverage than ever before.
And a little bit more seriously too. I mean, you still have the guys that mock it left, right, and center, but some of them are taking it a little more seriously.
And as more you know, evidence gets declassified and gets, you know, shared with everybody, and I'm telling you, everybody's going to stop doing that your crazy thing. It's right. It's going to become normal. Watch, mark my words. And I hope, you know, I'm going to say, but, you know, hoping maybe gives more opportunity for people to like film, because that's what I'd like to see is like different, you know, better quality of like UFOs, you know, different, you know, definitive, I guess you could say, like more definitive, video footage than, what we normally see. Because like with mine, for example, like, I could say that was a UFO, but, it could be something else, who knows? You know what I mean?
Well, and like a lot of people have said is in the States anyways, is that if it's not from outside of this world, is it another country that's got that technology? And then you got to be a little bit more worried.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, I get that as a whole, right?
Right.
Because maybe somebody has something more than ever before, but look how far we've come in the last 100 years.
Right.
Exactly. Right. So it'll be like, it's just like, it's like you're Sasquatch. I think, like Janine thinks that it's an interdimensional being as well.
That's why we can't catch it. It's fast.
I agree.
Okay. It's like, even if you take an ordinary, I used to do it with a 35, but I can do it with a digital too. If you take your digital camera and you open that exposure long enough and you put it on a tripod and say it's sitting there for, 8 hours and it's filming a square, like in a city or something, the buildings will be there, but any people that walk by it disappear. We can do that with the technology that we have, right? Mm-hmm. It's just a manipulation of time.
Right.
So if you put that into another context of time, who knows what we're not seeing? Who knows? Right.
That's a good food for thought. Yeah. Awesome. How about you, Dennis? You have anything you want to say?
I just want to thank you for inviting me. This was fantastic. I think it's great to see other people with the same interests coming together, and and not everything has to be paranormal. We covered a lot of different subjects.
Exactly.
And I think that's how it should be. Yeah, but thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
And Nick, thank you very much. Thank you, Dennis. I mean, it's been an honor to be here again. I love the concept of paranormal unity. There's another individual that I think if we do this again with you, Nick, that maybe we'll bring on, because she runs she's one of our newest investigators, but she also has a Facebook page on Para-Unity, and there's like 112 or 115 different teams worldwide that's part of it now. Yes. And it's the same thing about don't let the bad beans in. I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that aren't that don't have similar values or goals, and it's really, really unfortunate, because like even us here, there's teams that we'll work with, and there's other teams that we won't.
Right.
And it's just because we've got our values and goals, and I think the concept is really, 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 really cool when you can work with people that have the same grounding.
Exactly.
So important.
Absolutely.
So important. You share knowledge, and you share, you learn things like wobbly pop.
Exactly.
I'm using that. I'm telling you, that's my new catchphrase.
So you find out things from different places, and you find stories and things that you can use and things you can tell your own team, and that's the beauty of it. That's really the beauty.
Oh, you froze there for a second. You there?
About it all.
Is that me?
There they are.
There we go.
There we go.
Apparently, we're done.
We're done.
Well,
but thank you.
I just want to say thank you guys so much, and gals. Thank you so much for joining in. I absolutely love having you guys on here. You guys, like I said, I can put up to 100 people on this Skype. Not that we ever need that. So if you guys want to be on the next one, by all means, please join in on the next one. We can do it again.
I would love to come on.
Absolutely. If you have more people, bring more people.
If you can get that many people on it, there's the perfect way to do an Estes.
I can, yeah, absolutely. I can get up to 100 streams on here. So
I know similar teams across Canada that I know would absolutely want to be part of this. And Nick, we you know us, we'd be there in a heartbeat anytime you want us. Anytime.
I would love to have y'all every time. I'm just going to say that now. Just I love meeting people. I love just spreading the Para-Unity. Like I said, man, it's it's just what needs to be done more often. And if this is the way we can do it and make it grow, you know, then let's plant that tree. You know?
Absolutely.
You
And
for sure.
I want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you guys again for coming. I really appreciate everything. And
thanks for having
doing
us.
this again. Oh, you're very welcome. You are very welcome. Very welcome. We hope you guys
Thank you so
enjoy
much.
it. Everybody have a wonderful day and too sweet.